Hi there, I'm Jen Hand, food coach for helping you end your battle with food. And I am here with Sarah Quinn from Manchester, England. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Jen.
And Sarah has agreed to be on camera to share her story. And I didn't bribe her, I didn't pay her. She's just kindly agreed to share her story, talk a little bit about her past, her struggles with food and weight and body image, and about our coaching experience. So let's jump right in. Sarah, so we worked together for about 6 months, and I'd love to hear a little bit about your story and just what you struggled with and sort of your history of food and weight battles and really what made you reach out. Because I think everyone hits a point where, whether it's a breaking point, whether it's just being fed up, where you're kind of like, I think I need additional help. So let's kind of just hear a little from you about what your past looked like and kind of what led up to you reaching out to get coaching.
Okay, I don't know. I think I got to the point where I'd tried absolutely everything. So I'd done the Weight Watchers, I'd done the milkshake diets, I'd done the grapefruit, I'd done the, yoga for weight loss, you name it, I'd done it. And I just thought, there's something wrong with me. There's definitely something wrong with me. I can't do this. And I kind of hit a brick wall. And then I think I started to use meditation and mindfulness and things like that. I found, that really helped me to find a little bit of peace. And that's when I started to look around for somebody who was kind and who could really help me. And that was really important to me. And I think I followed some of the posts that you'd put up. And I felt that you were a very nice person and approached it in a really nice way. And that really appealed to me. I remember writing an email to you saying, you just seem so nice. It's a really horrible word to use, but I wanted somebody kind who would help me rather than make me feel like there was something wrong with me. So that was really important to me, because I think I got to the point as well where I really genuinely couldn't find anything I liked about myself. I'd found a little bit of peace. I'd found a bit of contentment in certain areas of my life, but not with me. So that was the big thing for me, trying to, find a way of finding something nice about me.
So did you, as far as dieting and overeating and kind of that cycle, were you caught in that? Had you, done, I know you had said you'd done kind of all the diets, but had you gone through the weight loss, weight gain cycle?
Yeah. Absolutely. My whole life has been weight loss, weight gain. And I'll do really well, and I'll go to Slimming World and lose loads, and then something happens and then I can't stick to it anymore, or I'll do something really, really strict and feel horrendously miserable, and then eat a biscuit and then think, right, well, that's it, I've ruined it now. So I would binge. And it was quite interesting, because when we started to do some of the work around binging and restricting, I realised that I used that an awful lot in my life as well, in other areas of my life, to cope with certain things. So, the binge TV and things like that, that was a real eye opener, because I didn't realise that I did that. So that was quite a revelation. Yeah.
And I think with the cycle, diet and binging, it's and we've explored this so much in our coaching, and how it is a mirror. We're doing it with our food, but where else are we doing it in our lives? And it's like just the tip of the iceberg. And I think what's so interesting is that when you start out, you're like, tell me what to do with food so I can fix myself, so I can heal myself, so I can just become normal, so I can lose the weight, whatever it is. And then kind of once we go, by the end, I mean, we weren't even talking about food. We were talking about life and careers and self-care and all that, other stuff that kind of once you get in. And I think that's one thing that really often surprises people. Like, we haven't even talked about the food, as we go along. And which is actually a pretty amazing thing, because when you start to dig deeper and you get your food a little bit more under control, you realize the reason you did what you did with food was because of all this other stuff. And I think that's where the diets fail us, is that we only stay up here. And it's like, following a plan, looking at food, counting macros, following Weight Watchers or Slimming World, whatever it is. And then it's sort of, we stay at the surface and never get into the deeper stuff. So for you, and actually I remember right before we first started, you were traveling. You were going to go to China. And I think you were afraid of just the point you had gotten to, afraid of traveling, afraid of getting on the plane. And I remember you getting back and being like, that was amazing. I did it. And feeling like you were ready for something new.
Yeah, that was a really interesting point, because I never thought that I never thought there were things that I was really scared of. But when I had this job opportunity, the thing that gripped me was the fear. I just thought, no, I just can't do that. And I think the biggest thing for me was the fear of what people would think of me, sitting on the plane and talking in front of people. I always had this thing that other people were looking at me and judging me. And that's really hard to overcome. But I think it all comes down to reflection, doesn't it? It's like looking at yourself and learning to love yourself. But I think the whole coaching experience for me, I've got so much out of it. You're absolutely spot on. It's not about the food. It's about other things, about finding freedom across the board, isn't it? Learning to love yourself, learning that you're powerful, and you can change the world, even a tiny bit of the world. And then when you realize that and you start to see it, the weight starts coming off, because you no longer use the food in that way. So that's my experience anyway. But it took all of that time for me to scratch the surface and start to explore those areas. And that's just continued, because I've now got the tools to recognize those triggers. So for example, now just started a new job, which is really your fault.
That's true, it is.
Go Jen.
Sarah's become a new person.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that this is a time where I need to look after me. So I need to meditate, I need to relax, I need to get outside, I need some fresh air. I need to find those things that I really enjoy to help me to get through this sort of transition time, So I think the thing that I'm really grateful for is that I actually quite like myself now. And I could never say that. I could never say that before. But I think I'm quite a nice person. And I feel really capable. I feel like I can do anything. And one of the things that really sticks in my mind was that the book that you recommended, and that the part of the book that talks about not being broken. Because for a long time I thought, there's something wrong with me. I'm not normal. I must be broken. And that realization that you're not broken, you are fine. And that, it does take a bit of work, but you're a worthwhile human being. You've got something to contribute. You can have a big impact on the world, and that people aren't looking at you, actually. They've got other things to do,
Everyone's too busy looking at themselves and wondering about their own insecurities and not even paying attention to anyone else.
Yeah, it's true.
And honestly, I looking back on your journey, it's just, and one of my favorite things about coaching is just seeing how each person unfolds and becomes more of the you that's always been there, but we weren't able to see it. And seeing you just become more strong in yourself and your strength of character and your willingness to have boundaries and to speak your mind and to not people please and of course we're all works in progress. But I mean, some of the stuff we talked about like, the emails on the weekends and the texts from having boundaries around work and respecting yourself and understanding what you need and not just catering to other people. I mean, I think a lot of women who struggle with food, myself included, we're innately those people pleasers. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to confront people. We want to just have everyone like us. And it's seeing how when we start to like ourselves and when we find ourselves enough, it's much easier to say no when we mean no, yes when we mean yes.
Yeah.
And it really is, I think, one of the most beautiful things, and one of the things I'm most proud of for you is starting to and continuing to deepen the loving yourself as you are. And I think that, and of course it's a lifelong journey and I still work on that, but to be able to leave your job and to have boundaries with your new job and to speak your mind and to take time for yourself. I mean, it's just like, that's what life is about. Like if you just cater to everyone all the time, it's you feel empty inside, you feel angry inside, you feel resentful inside, because it's like we're not satisfying ourselves. And so I honestly feel so proud of your work and the stuff that you put in, because you know, and I tell this to every woman that is interested in coaching, it is work. I mean, it's absolutely not physical labor, but it's like looking at things you may not want to look at, finding yourself that are often a little bit scary, and exploring getting out of your box, which is always scary. But the payoff is like when you can go through it is so worth it, because you become a different person.
Yeah.
And it's like, anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
But the tasks as well that you set after each session that really take you deeper, those tasks are really challenging. And there were a couple of the tasks that I found quite difficult, but I was able to carry them on because I found them quite difficult. And it's not challenging as in time consuming and there's loads of stuff to do. It's challenging because it's reflecting on things that you find uncomfortable, and those realizations that actually, you know, there are things that, there are sort of cycles that you've got yourself into, and that you can change it. And actually, that life is meant to be fun, isn't it? You know, it's not meant to be hard.
Amen.
Life's meant to be fun.
So looking at yourself at the start of 6 months and at the end, is, you know, is there one thing that glares at you as like, this is the biggest change I've had, as far as the kind of before and after, if you want to say that?
I think my biggest change is finding happiness and inner strength. I am a strong person, and I'd lost that. I'd totally lost it, and I'd started to use food for comfort, use food when I was lonely, use food when I was tired, and now I don't need to do that anymore, because I've got things within me that I can use to help me get through those times, you know. And also I always remember you saying, well, so what if you're lonely, you know? What's going to happen?
You know, that's one of my favorite stories of when you were traveling for work and the fear of loneliness in the hotel rooms and driving you to binge and to buy food. And when we had to explore, well, what does it actually feel like? Because when I asked you, well, have you actually felt the loneliness? And you were like, well, no, I haven't. I've often like binge in fear of feeling the loneliness.
Yes, that's it.
Moment of, okay, well, I made it through the night, and it wasn't
nothing
fun.
Happened.
But I didn't die. Like, I'm still here, you know. And it was just like such a great story of we're terrified of our emotions, but when we actually feel them or be with them or allow for them, it's like, oh, okay, I was lonely and like I'm still here.
Yeah, and I think I hadn't really felt many emotions for a long, long time. And the other thing I hadn't felt was hunger. Learning what that feels like was quite a revelation. Like, oh, yeah, I can feel hungry, and I won't just fall over, you know, and die. And I can manage it, you know. Yeah, because I had that was another fear. Okay, I'm going to be driving now for the next 3 hours, so I need to make sure I'm stocked up. I've got enough fuel to get me through the next few hours. You know, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it is when when we've eaten for so long based on
Yeah.
a plan or something, counting, it's like, what is hunger and fullness? Like this almost, oh, it's actually a thing your body tells you and we don't know at first.
Yeah.
Which is when you look back, you're like, how is that possible? But it is. Like we've eaten so long not listening that when we start to listen, it's like, well, what does that feel like? I don't know. And kind of exploring that.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who's thinking about coaching or is interested? Is there any advice or anything you'd want to tell them?
Personally, I would say if you've got the opportunity, do it. It will change your perception of such a lot of things, but you have to be willing to commit. You can't do it half-heartedly. You've got to really commit to it. And you will see a huge change in a short space of time. And it's quite scary. It's quite dramatic, the change that you feel inside. I could not wait to speak to you today, because honestly, this whole process has just awakened something that, you know, has been there all this time. And then, I don't know, I've just dampened it down with donuts. And now, now it's here again.
The Sarah is alive in the world. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, and working with you was incredible, and I feel so proud of your changes and just love, you know, feeling like that mother hen of just like seeing you go out into the world and be a new person. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And I'm proud of you, and thank you.
Thank you.